story begins with Noah. She was wandering around the shopping mall at the airport because her plane was delayed. While walking around, she came across one of her own magazines. It read, "Landstar's legacy has conquered London." She had broken up with Nick 4 years ago. Then Noah bought a large chocolate bar from the store. She got on the plane with the chocolate in her hand. After boarding the plane, she accidentally collided with a boy. The boy's name was Simon. Fortunately, his clothes were coffee-colored, so the stain wasn't very noticeable. After getting off the plane, Simon proposed to Noah that they could share a taxi if she wanted. He actually wanted to spend a little more time with her, but Noah said that one of her friends was coming to pick her up at the airport. As they were leaving, Simon smiled and said, "Next time we meet, you'll buy me coffee." Then Noah saw a red racing car there. She thought to herself that maybe Nick had come to pick her up, but that wasn't actually the case. At that moment, Jenna arrived and told Noah that she was going to get married soon. Both of them continued talking as they walked, and Jenna was filled with joy. Shortly after, dresses were being distributed to the bridesmaids, but Noah didn't like her dress because it looked completely different from the rest. So she asked Jenna if she was hiding something from her, but the wedding topic moved on from there. Noah again asked, "Do you want to make me the maid of honor? Then who will be the best man?" Then Jenna smiled and said, "Do you know who our best man is?" This made Noah upset. She said, "I don't want to kiss Nick anymore." "Nothing like that will happen," Jenna said and left. Noah noticed that the pre-wedding festivities had begun, and everyone came dressed in white. Jenna had left a white dress for her too. She got ready and came downstairs. At that moment, there was an entry in that direction in a new, dashing look. The heroine was completely shocked to see him, and the poor girl trembled inside when she saw Nick hiding behind the wall. Then at the party, Jenna introduced Noah to her uncle. They started talking, but Noah couldn't concentrate properly because she was so nervous about seeing her ex. Still, she told Jenna's uncle about her work experience and life story. At that time, Nick came from behind and greeted Jenna's uncle, but ignored Noah as if he didn't know her, which made her feel very uncomfortable. Then Nick's dashing look was shown again, but he walked past Noah as if he didn't even recognize her. Finally, the wedding preparations began. Everyone was heading to the resort for the wedding. Everyone got into their cars as usual, and Noah was asked to go with Nick. But Noah didn't want that at all. Still having no other choice, she had to get into Nick's car. The atmosphere was uncomfortable from the beginning, very tense and strange. Nick played some music to pass the time. There was no conversation between the two. Then they arrived at the resort. There, Noah and Nick had to stay close to each other as maid of honor and best man. That night, there was a dinner party. The wedding was planned in such a way that it kept Noah and Nick together the entire time. Many people were surprised to see blue roses there and said, "I've never seen a blue rose before." Actually, in the second part, Nick wanted to propose to Noah with a blue rose, but Noah wasn't home at that time. Meanwhile, Jeremy secretly drank his mother's wine during dinner. Noah then wanted to tell Nick something, but Nick completely ignored her and started talking to Luca. He talked about his workshop and various events from his life. After a while, Luca noticed that Nick had a tattoo on his hand that said, "You are mine." Nick said he had made many mistakes in his youth just for fun. Luca laughed and said, "I did the same," then showed off tattoos with the names of his previous girlfriends. Everyone was filled with joy on the wedding day. When the ceremony began, the priest spoke a few words. Tears welled up in Lion's eyes, and he said to Jenna, "I take you to be my wife. I will always be by your side in happiness and sorrow." Jenna replied the same way. After this romantic moment, they kissed each other, and Jenna threw away the bouquet of flowers, which Noah caught. Nick then asked Lion, "Where are you taking Jenna on your honeymoon?" Lion smiled and said, "We will go to an island. I'll fulfill some fantasies under a fountain there." Nick laughed heartily at his words, but exaggerated a bit. Jenna's father got angry and said, "Show some respect for my daughter." Nick jokingly replied, "That's not possible. The water from the fountain is so strong that people get injured." Then the newlyweds started dancing. After a while, their friends also joined in. Nick tried not to think about Noah, and Noah also tried to be happy at her friend's wedding, but Jenna wanted the old distance between them to disappear. So she forced Nick and Noah to drink together and said, "Smile a little because both Jenna and Lion want Nick and Noah to get back together." There. Slowly, Noah and Nick began their first real conversation. Gradually, the evening turned into night, and they went into the bedroom, where Noah and Nick grew very close to each other. They shared a romantic moment, and the 4-year gap between them seemed to disappear in an instant. They spent that night together, filled with love and memories of the past. When they woke up the next morning, Nick didn't talk to Noah. He quietly got dressed and wanted to leave. Noah thought their relationship might finally be back on track, but in reality, nothing like that happened. Then Noah said in a sorrowful voice, "I saw your writing on your grandfather's grave. It was written there, 'You will always be the light in my darkness.'" Hearing this, Nick said in a cold voice that maybe the writing had already been washed washed away by the rain. Noah didn't tell him that the writing hadn't been erased yet, but Nick said arrogantly, "Do you know what I still see when I close my eyes? When I close my eyes, I see you." And that boy, his name was Michael. It was because of that boy that Nick and Noah's relationship broke up. When Nick was about to leave, Noah told him to turn off the light. Hearing this, Nick stopped and asked, "Do you sleep with the light on now?" Noah smiled softly and said, "No, I don't sleep with the light on anymore. I've been able to let go of all my old habits and all my old fears." The next morning, Noah went to her university to collect her degree certificate. After that, she started doing various jobs, sometimes delivery, sometimes sun tracking, sometimes camera work, and sometimes firefighting. On the other hand, Michael was talking to his boss. The boss asked, "How long have you been working in the mental health department?" In reality, Michael was hiding a big secret from his boss. While working at the university, he had gone on a room date with a girl. That girl was none other than Noah, and that's what his boss found out. So the boss didn't want to keep him at work anymore. You might wonder how his boss knew about it. In fact, Nick himself told the boss everything. The next day, Noah had a job interview. When she got there, she saw her new boss fixing a robot. She was surprised when the man turned around. "That's Simon," Noah said with a smile. "You look very familiar." Simon replied with a grin. "Yes, we met once on a plane, and another time in a traffic jam when you showed me the middle finger." Noah felt very embarrassed hearing this. She immediately apologized for her previous rude behavior and quietly left. The next day, Simon was impressed by Noah's work and congratulated her. Simon said, "The day we first met, I had an important meeting with my employers, but I couldn't handle it properly. So I want you to help me so that I can do better in the next meetings." Meanwhile, Nick's company was completely collapsing. News came that their Spanish branch had been shut down. The employees were furious because their jobs had suddenly been taken away. The news was broadcast on TV, stating that the branch had closed due to financial problems. The employees became very angry with Nick's father. One angry employee even attacked him, forcing him to run away quickly. A board member said that the Leicester company had treated its employees very poorly. Nick was in London at that time and his father was in Spain. A TV reporter, worried about losing his job, threatened Nick by saying, "If you have the courage, come to Spain and fix your mistakes." The board members grew concerned. They feared that the company's share price would fall rapidly after this incident. So one of them suggested suppressing this news and replacing it with some other hot topic in the media. A few hours later, Nick met with Sophia and said, "We should make our relationship official. It's in both of our best interests. Your father needs a partner before the election, and for me, this marriage will help cover up the controversy at my company." Meanwhile, Simon and Noah were enjoying each other's company. They went on dates, had fun, and spent great times together. In the end, Simon kissed Noah, but Noah immediately said, "I don't want to get close to anyone so soon. I need some time." Simon agreed, and both of them decided to move forward slowly. The next day, Simon was having a meeting with his office colleagues. He said, "Our office environment has to be the best. Investors are coming tomorrow, so we have to give our best performance." The colleagues laughed and said, "So who will make coffee tomorrow?" Noah curiously asked how many investors were coming. Simon jokingly replied, "You should be thinking about who's going to make coffee for them." Then they played a funny strength testing game, deciding that whoever lost would serve coffee to the investors. Just then, the unexpected investor, Nick, entered through the door. Nick was surprised to see Noah and asked, "What are you doing here?" Noah calmly replied, "I work here. Since you bought shares in this company, I'm now your employee." Simon, surprised by their conversation, asked, "Do you two know each other?" Then Nick, angry and jealous, said, "My stepsister works here. I've invested millions just to see results, not to build a coffee shop." Simon answered coldly, "We work with technology and Noah is an important member of our team. You chose our company after reviewing our strategic plan." Nick smiled slightly and said, "So this is how coffee is made? Well then, send me a cup of coffee." Unable to bear the insult, Simon went to make the coffee himself. Back home, Nick told Sophia that the new company was in a very bad state, so he had to stay in Spain because there were still some issues that needed to be fixed. Then their plan succeeded and they were very happy. A few days later, Sarah was talking to Noah. Just then, Nick arrived and ordered her to send the ghostly cartons. Noah did as she was told, but while climbing the cliff, Nick saw Simon and Noah standing together, holding hands. He became very angry seeing that. The next day, Noah was looking at a magazine. As she flipped through the pages, she noticed that the news of Nick and Sophia's wedding had been printed. At that moment, Michael was sitting on a parlor bike, drinking tea. Noah saw him and wanted to talk to him, but Michael became angry and uncomfortable because one night in their past had completely changed his life. Then Noah called Sophia, because she knew that Nick was trying to trap Michael. Sophia was with him. A few hours later, Raphael met Noah. That day there was supposed to be a family party. Maggie and Nick came home together. At first, Maggie kept a little distance, but seeing Noah changed her behavior. Father and son went to the kitchen together. There, Noah's father told Nick, "Your new decisions have damaged the company. Doing something new doesn't mean you have to be harsh. As the head of the company, you need to be more mature and flexible." William tried to build a good relationship with Maggie, but Maggie actually wanted to spend time with her brother, and her brother treated her badly. Nick then announced that new rules would be implemented in the company from now on. No employee may have a relationship with another employee, and if there is, that relationship must be broken. Simon opposed this decision and said that Nick should have at least informed him before making such a rule. Nick said coldly, "I knew you were a bad investor and couldn't keep secrets. Learn to control your emotions." That night, Noah realized that her relationship with Simon would not last, because sooner or later Nick would find out everything, and that would increase the risk for Simon's company. But Simon said, "I want to be with you even if it's a risk." The next day, Nick and Noah got into the elevator together. Nick told Noah that he had installed cameras throughout the office because he wanted to see if she was following him every day. In the end, it appeared that Noah had broken up with Simon. Nick was very happy to see that, but in reality, it hadn't happened. Noah had actually decided to resign from her job. Noah said, "I've changed." Nick smiled and said, "You haven't changed at all. Your eyes, your hair, everything is the same." Noah said coldly, "There are cameras here, so be careful with whatever you do." "I want to quit my job." Nick asked, "Why? Are you in a relationship with someone?" Noah replied, "Yes, I'm in a relationship with Simon, just like you are with Sophia." Nick asked, "Did you spend the night with him?" Hearing Noah's words, he realized that they had indeed spent the night together. Nick said, "I know you don't love Simon." Then an argument broke out between them. Noah said, "Sometimes even hungry people lose their prey," and then left from there. Maggie was getting ready to go back to her mother's house after the holidays. Maggie said, "Where's Nick?" "Nick will take me." But Nick couldn't come because he was busy. After that, Maggie stayed with Noah. Later, Nick came to Maggie and apologized. Just then, Nick's mother, Annabelle, came to meet him. Annabelle said, "Talk to me for 5 minutes. I'm handing over the responsibility for Maggie to her father. I have a terminal illness and have been battling it for the past 4 years. I'll be undergoing an arm surgery soon. So from now on, Maggie will stay with you. Maybe this seems unfair to you and maybe you hate me, but I want you to take care of Maggie. At least for my sake." Annabelle hugged her daughter and said, "From now on, you will stay with your brother." Noah was with them through this entire moment. As Noah was leaving, Nick stopped her and said, "At least we can be together tonight." After that, they spent a very intimate time together. Their closeness and passion drove them both crazy. The next morning, Nick woke up and found that Noah was no longer there. He kept searching for her, but Maggie came and said, "Noah is gone." On the other hand, Noah was sitting in the car, crying. Suddenly, she noticed bloodstains on her shirt. She quickly went to the doctor. After asking several questions, the doctor said, "You're pregnant and there's a light blood clot in your uterus. You're now about 16 weeks pregnant." Noah was shocked. She didn't want to become a mother now. To be on the safe side, the doctor advised her to get an ultrasound done. Just then, Michael was passing by the office. He discovered the truth after seeing Noah's name on the report. Noah's pregnancy ultrasound revealed that she was going to have a baby boy. Michael tried to find the positive side of the situation and said, "You can stay in my guest room for now. Your mother will start trouble once she finds out." A few days later, Michael meets Sophia and learns some important information. Nick and Noah are half-siblings, and Nick's child has been conceived in Noah's womb. This happened on his wedding night. Michael warned Sophia that if anyone finds out about this, everything will be ruined. Both Nick's company and her father's political career will collapse. He advises that they should hide in the hospital for a while. Everyone attends a party at the company. Sophia tells Noah that she has solved Michael's problem, but hints that something could become dangerous if Nick finds out. Noah realizes that Sophia already knows her secret. Later, Noah goes to the bathroom. Simon sees Sophia and invites her to dance. Just then, Nick takes the opportunity to approach Noah and kisses her. Nick says, "I can't control myself whenever I'm near you." Noah starts feeling sick and calls Simon, but Simon has been drinking a lot. Nick says, "Okay, I'll take you home." Sophia witnesses the entire incident and feels broken inside. Back home, Noah says, "I feel sick. I'll stay here tonight." Seeing her condition, Nick wants to help her, but Noah says, "Our relationship can't go any further. We are both in other relationships, and on top of that, we are half siblings." She also says, "Sophia is a very good girl, and your family likes her too. You'll have a beautiful child together." Nick smiles and says, "Our child will be much better than that." This marks the end of their relationship. They say goodbye to each other for the last time and part ways. Noah's condition worsens, so she goes to the hospital. The doctor examines her and says, "You should have come earlier." Then Sophia talks to Noah and tells her that Michael knows everything about her secret. Sophia also says, "You won't be able to hide this for long." Noah replies that she will leave the country and go to her aunt's house, never to return. As the guests slowly leave, only the original family remains. Noah and Maggie hug William. Nick feels very touched seeing this. Later, Maggie and Noah go to bed. They talk a lot. Noah says, "Sleeping here feels like sleeping inside an oyster. It never feels lonely here." Then she laughs and says, "This house is yours from now on. When I return, we'll live in this house together." Both of them fall asleep peacefully. Later, Noah returns to Simon's house. Simon asks how everything went in the end. Noah says, "Nick's heart softened a little after what happened." Then she adds, "I came to give you important news." The scene shifts. Now we see Sophia and Nick. Sophia knows her father's election will be held soon, and to strengthen his position, he has bought a news channel. Nick says he will sell his London flat and settle in Spain. That means he now wants to end his relationship with Sophia. Sophia becomes angry and says, "You always blame others. You never hugged your father because of your ego. You couldn't even meet your mother for the last time, and you could never forgive Noah, the person you love the most, because you always thought your ego would break. That's why you lost everyone. Now you should deal with your internal problems so you don't ruin other people's lives, especially Noah's." Even though Sophia is in pain, she understands how important Noah is in Nick's life. She also says, "You should go back to Noah now, because if you need anyone the most right now, it's her." Nick gets emotional hearing this and asks Sophia, "Why are you doing this?" Sophia can't say anything. Nick thanks her and leaves. Before leaving, he notices that his father, William, has developed a very good relationship with Maggie, which makes him happy. Then Nick calls Simon. Simon knows that Nick is leaving Spain and moving to London. Nick says, "I'll fix my company." He wants to rehire the employees of his insurance company who lost their jobs, because now Nick doesn't just think about himself. He thinks about others too. When Noah is preparing to leave the country, Nick tries to fix everything with Noah. Says, "Even if everything is over, every clue still leads back to you. I want to start over with you." Noah says, "This dialogue of yours won't work. You can leave now." But then Nick adds, "No one else can come between you and me." Noah says, "That's never possible." Then she shows her stomach. It's now very big. Nick says, "I have no problem with that. I love you very much. Please forgive me once. Don't leave me. I'm even willing to accept Simon's child." Hearing this, Noah becomes angry and drives away. Then Nick shouts, "Hey fool, this is your baby." Nick is shocked and starts chasing after her. They continue talking while driving. Nick asks, "How old is the baby? Is the baby really 24 months old?" Then he says, "So I'm going to be a father?" Noah replies, "No, I'm going to be a mother." It starts with a little laughter. Nick tries to explain, "I love you so much." Before saying goodbye, he adds, "I'll tell my mother. She's going to be a grandmother now." But the story doesn't end here. A motorcycle stops in front of the Lester family mansion. The same protester who once attacked Nick's father arrives. He comes between Nick and Noah and shoots Nick. Nick falls to the ground, bleeding. Before dying, he says, "I should have stayed here." He tries to take a small box out of his pocket. The scene cuts to a few months later. Nick wakes up from a coma. He learns that his son has been born. He says, "Having a child feels truly peaceful." Noah tells him to rest. Just then, it starts to rain. Nick looks around for his son but can't find him because Briar has come and taken the baby. Briar says, "I came here only to take your child. I will raise him as my own because my child is dead." Nick is still weak and can't move properly. Hearing Briar's voice, Noah slowly climbs upstairs. Nick tries to pick up his phone, but Briar takes it away and presses the SOS button first. Michael catches Noah, but she manages to escape. Briar shouts, "Now I will take your child instead of mine because my child is dead." Briar runs away as Michael screams, "I was kicked out of the university because of you. I was thrown out of the hospital. I have nothing left." Just then, Nick appears and punches Michael. Noah chases Briar and says, "I will raise my child with all the love in the world. Nick helps her too. In the end, their dog suddenly pushes Michael out of the window, and Noah hits Briar. Both Briar and Michael are arrested by the police. At the very end of the movie, Noah says, "Our relationship was always meant to be together. We have suffered a lot and overcome many obstacles, but in the end, fate did what it was meant to do." The scene shows Noah and Nick getting married. Both of their parents have accepted their relationship. Then they throw away their wedding rings, which Sophia catches. After that, they go out on their honeymoon. Noah gifts Nick a racing car, but Nick can't drive it. So Noah drives the car herself, smiling as she drives. The movie ends with Noah's smile behind the wheel.